Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time. And so you and I, and most coaches that listen to this are going to know who Tommy Thomas is. Larger than life personality. I mean, he really has, like you talk about great coaches, they just have presence. I mean, he has presence when he's in the gym. You know it, you feel it. He has great command of his players and staff. And so you're following, like a lot of coaches that get their first head job. Most of the time, I would imagine it's not at the same school, and you're taking over a program that has been in a bad way. So you just get to come in and you have that first year where you get to, bring in your culture. Everybody's so happy and it's exciting because something new. But Coach Thomas, I mean, a legend at the Colony, opened the school, didn't leave in a bad way in any way. You worked for him. I would imagine, knowing you've always kept his legacy alive. It's never just been like, this is mine. Coach Thomas's time is done. But at what point did you really feel like, how long did it take for you to feel, all right, I'm Coach Ryan and this is my program? Was it immediate or did it take some years?
Yeah, that's a great question. But I think with Coach Thomas, when I first took over as a head coach, he backed away. He let me do it, and he would only offer suggestions if I was asking and things like that. And so a lot of respect for that. And of course, he was always there if I needed something and things like that as well. And we all know, I think even guys like you and other guys that are coaching, that when we're all under, we wouldn't be where we are today without him. And so, I've never, to be honest, as far as thinking about that, I've really never took it as, this is my program, or it's I'm in charge now. I still use the phrase "our program" with him, with you, with other players. So I just think as over time, and again, it's good when you have some success, you can win some games and things like that. That helps. But we just try to do it together with him. Coach Thomas, we still keep him involved with our Christmas tournament, and he's been around. I mean, again, these guys don't realize that he's following them and keeping up with them. But, like I said, I'm blessed that it's been our program for 36 years and that we've had a lot of great players and just guys with a lot of great character in our program. So,
and I get that, and I might not have set that up the right way, because obviously not trying to put you in a position of, hey, when did you squeeze Coach T out? That's not it at all. But so like early, yeah. So that's not it. That's not it at all. At what, like, was there a point where, because I mean, when you, like me and Coach Watson together, we set up kind of this system of running and gunning and pressing and dribble drive. And when I got the job at Faith, I basically just took that over and put it in here. And then it probably took 4 or 5 years tinkering around a little bit and then kind of finding my own flow and really realizing, okay, the way that we did it at McKinney maybe doesn't help. It's a little different being at that school as an assistant and moving up like you did. But culture-wise, maybe style-wise, because Rick Torbett said it takes you 10 years to really figure out what your style is. Was that quicker for you, or?
Yeah, I think it was. I really do think, to be honest, I had a great group of assistant coaches, and go back to that group as actually my assistant's senior year group, where they just got it, then, and not taking away from anybody those first 2 years. because I still keep up with some of those players from those years when I was, again, getting in here and, learning and the hard way and, and hearing guys say, well, that's not how we did it last year, and, they used to just make it, well, I'm not Coach Thomas. Can't you tell? We don't really, I know we look alike and stuff like that, Coach Thomas. But, really when that year, when, again, we end up, that group just bought into us being together and end up winning district. They had us pick 7th in that year and pulling together. And I just think that year really is when we were kind of able to move forward. So
I think off-season expectations are tough for you. Kind of from the very beginning of your talk, you talked about keeping things new and fresh, but then also remembering what you've done before. Like off-season expectations, I feel like can be tough because is it best? What's best for this group that we have? You got select ball. You want them to get stronger, but they only have so many minutes in their day. They still have academics. We still want them to be a high school kid. So what are some of the off-season expectations for a Colony player?
Yep. Like I said, I think a lot of our, as just coaches over the years, a lot of us have changed where even these kids are about to go play, if it's a playing weekend. I think this weekend a lot of guys are off. There's a few that are playing and, they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they show up Monday. It's tough. And so I've kind of, I want them to know I support them in that as well too. That's how, again, it's important to me that they do well in their AAU games and practices and things like that. But hey guys, when we're here, we'll maybe be a bit relaxed on Monday or if you're going to go play on the weekend, we're not going to work you out really hard on Friday. But you can all go through shooting drills and you can all go, that's going to help you. But I also think one of the biggest things is them communicating with me. Hey, coach, I was playing this weekend, tweaked my ankle. I don't think I can go through this. That's a huge, huge, huge part for me is you better send me a text or somehow communicate. We don't just show up to practice and say,
yeah,
I'm not going to do this. Hey, coach, I'm hurting. I don't think I can go full speed. I can do, it's totally different. And but we still we're in that weight room. A couple days a week, we go to the court. We're doing a lot of shooting. I mean, they can't argue with that. If we're doing a lot of shooting and we're trying to help them, because I also think this time of year, a lot of kids aren't getting the shooting in. They're going to practices or they're playing games, and I'm not just talking, getting on the shooting gun or anything like that. I mean, just things that you're going to do in your offense and stuff. So we've adjusted. I've gotten, you want to say, a little bit more relaxed, or maybe it's a little bit more aware of what's going on. And and you said it, they can only do so much, and just want them to know that I support them. But when you're here, support us too, and go hard as well too. Things that we want them to do here at the Colony, and so because you never know who's going to walk in the door. You never know who's going to be here, and just I'm gonna support you. You support us.
And I think you nailed it right there with the trust factor. Like we're trusting that when you go and play, you're giving your best there. I think it's always good for them to hear a different voice, to learn it. I always tell our guys, believe it or not, there's different ways to play than just than how we run and gun. So it's good for them to learn that and get to be around somebody new. But we also like the trust is both ways. We have to be able to trust that when they do show up with us, they are going to give their very best. And to your point, like I love the communication piece that you said, because that just shows, I think it's a great way to hold them accountable, but to help them mature, because you and I both know their basketball will end and they're going to have a real job one day. And in that job, there's going to be times when maybe you can't be there, but you can't just not show up or be gone 2 days and then just walk in the next day. You're going to have a meeting. And so I think that's a great way to prepare them for life.
Yep, I agree. And that communication, I think when a lot of times when you have something good, bad, whatever it is, when you communicate about it, you usually can work things out when you're communicating. So teaching them that, I think it's hard with, again, talk about this generation or whatever. It's just sometimes hard for people to communicate things, and we assume they know, or we don't realize. I want them to know that I'm counting on them. Again, this is my job. So when I show up to fourth period, I'm excited and I'm ready to practice. And if 2 or 3 of you can't be there, I just want to know now I'm prepared. Because when you get there and it's such a letdown, Coach, I can't practice. Why didn't you tell me?
I have this whole plan for you. Yeah.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.